Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
And slid down so we can see a red suitcase right here for law enforcement. If they're watching and you guys would like to come back here. Of her being out here. So this is what we're doing today. We will see you guys back here real soon.
I have a question for you. If you woke up this Friday morning and you looked in your bank account and there was $10,080 magically there, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But the only stipulation is you have to spend it all in 1 week and it'll be gone. And then the following week, you'll get another $10,080 deposited, and so on and so on. You can spend it however you want. Or if you don't spend it, it disappears. Would you spend every cent every week, or would you allow it to be wasted and taken away from you? Well, guys, this Friday, you're going to wake up and there's going to be 10,080 minutes that God has given you for the next week. And you can spend them however you want, or you can simply waste them. Guys, I highly suggest that you spend every minute of next week doing amazing things, and don't allow 1 minute to be squandered, because you never know when God won't deposit another 10,080 minutes in your life, guys. Go out and live a great life.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube. Happy Thursday morning to all of my beautiful friends out there. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you. Mama Llama is up in the house. The first to say good morning to beautiful Betty and chat. And of course, our beautiful and loving mods, right? Our moderators get the brunt of the Bullhorn Betty channel. So don't forget to tell your favorite Bullhorn Betty mod, thank you so much for making sure your experience here is fun, because we know it can get a little rocky at times. Tammy, it's nice to see you up in the house this morning. Good morning. The real me too, Sheila. Our resident Big Mac Mike is up in the house, addicted to Big Macs, right? If he could have an IV of Big Macs going into his body, he would be happy, just like Betty is with her coffee, right? Just boot it up, baby. Boot it up. Christina, it's nice to have you here this wonderful morning. I am Team Summer. Much love to you, babe. Good morning, Julia. It's nice to see you. Bullhorn Betty is obviously up in the house this morning. Good morning, Sonia. Good morning. You know what? I wrote you, and then I forgot to go back and check to see if you responded. Oops. JB's mama. It's nice to see you up in the house this morning. I hope you're doing better and not so intoxicated. I should stop. That's how rumors get started. Lulu's Nana, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Colette. Let me see if Sonia wrote back. Oh boy. Colette, good morning. November rain. Nice to see you. Be right back. Elsie, it's nice to see you. Gigi for life. MJ, there you guys are. I was wondering where you were at this morning. Good morning. Cool Gamer is in the house. Just up a little later, right? Cool Gamer was the first last night to be up in the house, and I just passed Cool Gamer by. I am so sorry, Cool Gamer. Well, I'm calling you out now. Kayla, good morning. And I think that might be it. If I missed you this morning, I apologize. We've got a lot to go over. Oh, I see Donna. Donna, it's nice to see you up in the house. Patricia, Pat, nice to see you. Michelle, people are coming. Oh, look who we have. I'm almost a little starstruck over here. I don't know what to do. Is that PJ up in my room? Oh my gosh. Good morning, love. It's nice to see you. Don't forget, it's Christmas time, right? So it's a good segue into. Don't forget your Dolly soap, right? Don't forget your Christmas items, right? So Sonia's got our custom items, shirts, and Dolly's got your smelly good stuff. It's kind of weird though, right? A guy with the smelly good stuff. You're on this AM. I love it. Yes, I'm getting back on schedule. I'm getting back. I have to be honest with you. We took a little detour for a few months, but now we're back on, right? We're back. We're back to the coffee club. We're back at 6:30 a.m., making sure that our flock is rising and shining and going to be the best self that they could possibly be as they head off to work. That name, right? That WORK word. Right? So we're going to try to keep it going here this morning. Carolina girl, it's nice to have you. Good morning. So we have I didn't realize when I was going through all of the stuff this morning that I'm covering a case that was already covered by another content creator. I didn't realize that until I was reading through it and I saw the lady's picture and I'm like, oh boy. Deanna, good morning. It's nice to have you. And so this one is really bizarre to me. And I it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I don't know how many of these parents out there are actually mentally ill, are now starting to wisen up and using the mental illness as an excuse. And I'm starting to feel like they're using all this stuff as excuses to do the unthinkable. I personally don't know why this woman offed her 2 children. I have no idea, but she did. And the children were 6-year-old Maurice and 9-year-old Jaden. But here's the issue. You know what she says? She says that Facebook did it. Facebook, it was an accident. This, and when I was reading this, and we're going to read it together. Oh, hey, Sarah Sweetness. Nice to see you. Good morning, Jamie. Nice to see you. I hope beautiful Betty can have Dolly makeup. They made a Bullhorn Betty soap. You got to go. Oh, not a soap on the rope. Buy it in a heartbeat. Soap on the rope. Don't drop the soap. They actually have a BHB soap. Okay. I have to be honest with you. I want to eat the soap, right? I almost want to cuss. It smells that good. I know it sounds really, really weird. And I get that. I'm a weird person. What can I say? But I got the BHB mocha latte soap and I've had it on my desk. And I'm telling you, it smells like a bar of chocolate. It does. And it took everything. Like I had to go buy a bag of chocolate because the soap was making me crave chocolate. They have a soap. It's not on a rope, but they do have a BHB soap. So this woman from Kentucky did all this stuff. And you know what? Before we get started on this case, let's take a few moments, give our hand our stuff over to God. I almost forgot to read the language letting go. We read it at the end of the show yesterday. I like this, and I don't want to wait until the end of the show because I think it really kind of bodes into what we talk about, how we do, and how we inspire people to move forward. And we were talking yesterday because we have a case that we're going to provide an update on today, but we talked about it yesterday, last night, as a matter of fact. It was Sarah Ebersol, the Ebersol case, and we were talking about how law enforcement told her roommate to come back in a week. And I said, no, you don't do that. You know your people better than anybody else. If something is wrong and law enforcement doesn't take you seriously, you sit your butt in that chair at that law enforcement office until they do. And that's called persistence, right? And persistence is very, very, very important in our life because without persistence, we probably wouldn't get our dream job, our dream boyfriend, our dream car, our dream house, our dream location. You know, we are persistent in our pursuit for happiness and the American dream for us. And I know I have a worldwide audience. So whatever country you're from, we want that dream, right? If you're from Australia, you want the Australian dream. If you're from Africa, you want the African dream. If you're from Europe, you want the European dream, right? So we're all kind of in the same boat with this. But I think the number one thing is persistence. We all need to be persistent in our pursuit to find our own personal happiness. And so for November 16th, I don't know if I can show this to you. Yeah, I can. It's Be Persistent, November 16th. Earlier in this book, I talked about how little drops of rain over the years could wear pockets and indentations in stones. I used it as an analogy to demonstrate how negative influence could wear away our resolve. It goes both ways. When I first was in recovery, one of the treatment center staff gave me one good quality about myself when I couldn't see or find anything about myself I liked. You're persistent, he says. Yes, I thought. You're right, I am. I also thought if I took one half the energy I used doing destructive things and channeled it into doing positive activities, there wouldn't be anything in the world I couldn't do. Most of us are persistent. Persistently dwell. We persistently dwell. We have persistently tried to change what we cannot. We usually a circumstance or someone else's behavior. Take that persistence, that determination, that almost obsessive resolve, and persevere with the things you can do. Don't push. Let go of concern about seemingly impossible tasks in your life. Softly, steadily, like the rain, let your kind spirit naturally remove the obstacles in your path. Life is better when we flow. But sometimes it takes a persistent flow to change the things we can. Enough water persistently applied can be more powerful than the rock. God grant me the courage to persevere and the strength to persist, right? I always say all the time, I'm a problematic woman. Lord help me, I'm a problematic woman, right? Proud problematic woman. So guys, be persistent in your life. Nobody's going to direct your ship better than you can. So God bless each and every one of you beautiful ladies and the men that are in my chat, like our resident sugar daddy, right? Big boy. And our resident defense attorney, Mike. We love you. We love you. I had an opportunity to say thank you to Sandra last night, but I don't know if she's on our coffee club crew or our night crew, but we got a card. I lost my other card, so this is really, really needed. Thank you so much. And then also some tactical lights, right? I got 2 of them now. So I'll have one in the backpack and I'll have one in another place where I can absolutely get to it and use it. And I love these things because I tell you what, lights, flashlights, little flashlights like this are... they're what I like. Even here, I have 1. I started out with 2. You always lose them. I've had it for a couple years, but it's time for a new one, and it's a little bit bulkier. So nice to see you, Turkey Man. Good morning. Happy Thursday, my love. Happy Thursday. We are rocking it out this morning with our coffee beans out. Thursday, November 16th, and we've got some disturbing cases here. This is the first one. We're going to work through this. So I'm going to go just to give you guys an idea for your timing if you got to get kids to school and stuff like that. We are going to be talking about several cases. This is kind of one of those one-off cases. I'm not going to be investing time into this case. I'm not going to be researching this case, pulling public records or anything like that. I'm just not going to do it. But I did want to advocate for these kids. I did want to honor the kids that lost their life at the hands of their mother and have just a small little conversation about this because, we've been talking about crime on this channel since the existence of this channel. We have a problem with drugs and alcohol and abuse in this country, not just this country, around the world. But it seems like the United States has got a magnifying glass on how more destructive behavior can we possibly have. This is sad. What would make a mother do the unthinkable? As you're going to read, because we're going to read this article together, and then I'm going to move on because it's sad, and I hate covering children. It breaks my heart. But it's the fact that she just borrowed a gun. I think like the day before. Sorry, but we've been doing this a while. We've been around the block a time or two here on this particular channel. Many of us have, even long before Bullhorn Betty got here. You guys have been out there kicking the streets of YouTube in the true crime community. There's a hint of almost planning. And it, to me, because of that gun. So I'm just going to read this and then we'll just have a brief discussion on it. And we're going to go ahead and move on. We have more pressing issues on cases that we have dived into a lot deeper than this particular case. But this Kentucky woman fatally shot her children. Her name's Tiffany Lucas, and she is 32 years old. Why is this doing this? Hold on, guys. I'm having just a small technical issue here. There we go. She killed her, and there's her two beautiful boys right there. That's just, I can't think of it. You know, I'm sitting here working with some families, you know, that have missing children, that really want their children, that want to find, you know, and like Jen Santinella, her daughter is an adult, right? That's still her child. And she's out there just sick to death, absolutely sick to death with worry and grief, trying to find her daughter. And these children right here, these beautiful children, their mother didn't think any more of their life than to put them where no parent wants their child to go. I don't understand it. I never will. Tiffany Lucas, 32 years old, shot her 6-year-old and 9-year-old child, according to a press release on November 8th. Tuesday, Lucas appeared in Bullitt County Court, where detectives Richard Beal testified about responding to the scene in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, according to WHAS. Beal testified when his officers arrived, Lucas walked out of her home and collapsed in the driveway of her neighbor's home. Beal found one neighbor trying to help Lucas in the driveway and another tending to the children inside the home, according to this particular article. One of the neighbors actually implied that you know, the incident, she was most likely responsible. And they go on to testify and said a third party had given her a gun. So there was a third party that had given her a gun. Why did she have a gun? When did she get that gun? It's implying that she received this gun prior to. She's saying it's an accident, but we're going to get down to the absurdity because it's coming up in this next sentence. Beal testified that Lucas said that she was being manipulated. And when I first looked at that and I heard that she was being manipulated, I was wondering, you know, just for that split second, is there a boyfriend in her life saying, hey, you know, we can do better without these kids? You never know. People are twisted. People are sick. We see it every day. But there she is, that disgusting, stinky, like just despicable. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at her face. I'm looking at her disgust. I'm looking at a shallow, hollow woman before me. And I still see drugs. I still see something there behind those eyes. And I just have a funny feeling she's a messed up woman. And here's what I got to say about this. And, you know, I get a little political on this channel when it comes to certain things. But I have to be honest with you. You know, I was having a conversation with Mama Bullhorn just the other day. And by the way, Mom, I hope you're doing okay today. But I was talking to Mama Bullhorn about the whole drug problem. You know, we're here in Florida. We have Grady Judd here that does a lot of initiatives, you know, drug sweeps. He does, you know, the child stuff, the pedo stuff. You know, he does a whole bunch of stuff that he's well known for around this country. Let's just face it. People know him from states that they shouldn't know him from. He's that good, right? But we learned that there's just a free-flowing pipeline, right? We can't have our own independent energy here in this country through pipeline, but we can have a pipeline of drugs that are killing our children across this country. We can have a pipeline of drugs that are coming in here and killing American citizens by the hundreds of thousands. Meanwhile, having Hispanic people that do not belong here fleeing over that border. And some of those people aren't even Hispanic. They're not coming from Mexico. They're coming from Syria, Iran, and other despicable places and flying in there and then crossing over our border. These are things that people aren't talking about. But you know, and we wouldn't normally be talking about this other than the drug epidemic. How are we allowing drugs to come over here that are killing the American citizens by the hundreds of thousands? Meanwhile, allowing people that are not here, that are not residents, that are not citizens pouring across our border. It feels like an invasion to me. I'm sorry it does. And I'm going to, we make a difference here. So I'm going to take my platform and I'm going to use it how I can to make a difference. And that's how I see what we're dealing with. And then I see these things and I'm allowed to talk about them. You know why? Because I'm the one that has to go and look at these families when their children are dead. I'm the one that's out there in those woods searching for their child when their child doesn't make it home. You know, there's a lot of people like me out there that's doing these things and giving freely from the bottom of their heart to make a difference. But we shouldn't even be having this discussion. We should still be having a war on drugs. But our government gave up. They gave up. It's not profitable enough for them, but it's profitable enough to change, you know, to allow it to come over. Why? Because now they're the drug dealer. They're the pimps, right? Pimping America out. And I'm sorry, I have a problem with that. So if you need to turn the channel, go ahead and turn the channel. But we will keep fighting because I'm sick and tired of the drugs. And I'm sick and tired of these kids dying because their parents are blitzed out of their mind and can't handle children anymore. It's getting sick. And I got a problem with it. The company cabinet for health and family services tell people in an email statement that the agency is devastated by the death, but could not comment on an ongoing case. It's typical, right? It's always confidential, nothing. All right, guys. So that's just, I'm not, like I said, it's a sad case. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that particular case or my diatribe on justice to stop the flow of drugs across our border and killing our citizens here in this country. And not only this country, the drugs is a worldwide organization. It's all around this country. And I'm sick of seeing people die because of it. You know, I'm a recovering addict. You know, I do have sometimes, you know, they talk about the grief that we have. You know, why did I make it and somebody else didn't? You know, this walk, I've watched a lot of people die, and I'm sick of watching them die. And every single day is a struggle. You know, when you're an addict 24/7. It doesn't go away, even when you're in recovery, and you got to be careful. Asa, Rex Heuermann's wife, soon to be ex-wife, you know, she came to the media and said, look, you know, I know that my husband's in jail for these despicable things. I'm in the process of divorcing him, but I want to see what they have against him. She's not standing. This is not a stand by your man moment. She's not standing by her man. She just wants to know. Can you imagine being married to somebody for 20 something years and you wake up one morning thinking it's a great life. Today's going to just be another normal day. And boom, you get a call that your husband is arrested for killing women, awing women, and disposing of women. And then next thing you know, your door is kicked in and your whole entire life is flipped upside down. You know what? If this happened to me, I would want to know why. I would want to know why myself. So I have ultra and utmost respect for Asa for standing strong and showing her face and going into that courtroom. She's not standing by her man. She wants to know what in the hell happened. And you know what? She has that right to know. So this is just her coming into the courtroom. Just wanted you guys to see it and get updated.
To either support her husband or just to look on. But at least today, we did see her arrive for this very brief hearing. And really the matter at hand came between the district attorney, the defense attorney, and the judge talking about the discovery matters in this case. And Mike Brown, Rex Heuermann's attorney, asking for 75 pages of discovery, also asking for lab requests from the Suffolk County Crime Lab that they want to go through. Of course, this is very vital to their defense. They want to see what prosecutors have on their client, which they accuse him of killing 3 of the Gilgo 4 victims in this case. The district attorney talked about the discovery that has already been handed over, and there certainly has been a lot of it. Remember, this case has been going on for years and years and years. So there is a lot of evidence, a lot of notes, and specifically about the search warrants that happened at the home of Rex Heuermann in Massapequa Park. 13,000 photos were taken during the execution of a search warrant.
Wow, 13,000 photos.
Wants more. So as we move forward in this long case, we also heard from both attorneys today outside of court that the grand jury investigation into the 4th victim of the Gilgo 4 is still ongoing. A lot of reporters here and people want to know, will he be charged with that fourth victim?
I truly believe that that's kind of the update. I just wanted you guys to get at least a semblance of an update related to Rex Heuermann, Asa, and I know they're saying that she's going. I don't know if she's going there, honestly, for stand by him to support him. I don't think if she wanted to support him, she probably wouldn't be in a divorce with him. She may be in a divorce with him right now just to protect assets. There are things that people don't think of when situations like this come up. And that's why you have attorneys, because they're the ones that have to navigate you through all of this complex issues. Sometimes in situations like this, and I've seen it myself, where people divorce, there's several strategies for it. Maybe she wants a divorce so she can testify against her husband. There is that possibility. She could testify against her husband anyways. But there are some restrictions, with the husband, wife, communicating. You can't force somebody to say something if they're married. However, there are some other stuff, the guns, for example. He's going to be in jail. She's got to be able to take care of her stuff. Why am I getting laggy on my end with you guys? Because it looks like it's getting a little laggy on my end. And I just want to make sure that, because if I got to turn off the green screen, I will. Okay, so here's the next one. This one is oh, thank you, Asa. Yeah, I did see that. She's out there with the I was going to say Paramount, but you're right. It's Peacock, the Peacock crew. She is out there with them, a little laggy. Okay, well, we'll just keep it monitored. If it gets too bad, let me know, and I'll just remove usually it's the green screen. I don't know why, but it's just the green screen. Sometimes it's the stuff in here because the commercials on some of the stuff I'm showing you is a little crazy, but this one just came out November 13th. This is from Boise, Idaho. I know you guys noticed that on my thumbnail, Michael Monkey Vaughn's there. We went out to the Michael Monkey Vaughn case back in September of 2022. Dolly and I collaborated on this particular matter. We went out there, did flyers, put up banners. We knocked on doors. We, spoke to people. I met a lady that actually physically saw Brandy over there at the splash pad looking for her child. She thought she was looking for a dog. It was really heartbreaking because so many people had beat up Brandy and her family. And I was getting to the point where I was starting to see some weird behavior myself. And I don't know if it was just because you look so long at something, you start seeing things that aren't there. But either way, it got to the point where I was really starting after, almost a year and a half of, talking about Brandy and her family, as opposed to say, Don Wells and the work that Brandy and her family were doing to try to find Monkey, as opposed to the Wells and how their avocation for their own daughter. They have more avocation for everybody else's kid, but their own. And so I almost said, this is a family of a missing. This is a family that is guilty of something. And I constantly went back and forth between them. And then all of this sudden, I'm like, it was starting to get where I'm starting to look and see things that I don't like. And I'm thinking, this can't be, I've been a year talking about, look at Brandy and her family as opposed to the Wells. And then, it was just one of those things where it got to the point that I just had to know for myself. I had to know. It's something about putting your feet in the area to get the vibe that you need. And that's what it is. It's a vibe. It's just taking in the energy and feeling it. Sometimes that's what you need to do to kind of clear your head and figure out what is going on in a particular case. And when I got there, there's no way. I knew the minute I saw her, and I there's just something about a grieving parent that you just see. When you see it, you know it, and you will always see it, even when you don't know the person. It's a grief. It's an expression that's like no other grief and no other expression. You just see a hurt parent, a parent missing their love for their child, missing their child. And that's what we got here. Well, this is, again, something that is bothersome for me in the Michael Monkey Vaughn case. It says Stacy Wandra, who police believe was involved in the disappearance of Michael Monkey Vaughn, is released from federal custody. This is Stacy Wandra. This is not Sarah Wandra. This is the husband. This is the husband. So I'm not, I'm a little concerned about that. I have to be honest with you, just a little bit, a lot more than a little bit, but we'll just keep it at that for right now. And here we'll have a small commercial and then we'll get on to the actual clip. There it is.
One of the people police believe was involved in Michael Vaughn's disappearance was released from federal custody last Thursday. Less than 2 weeks ago, Stacy Wandra was sentenced to 21 months after pleading guilty to unlawful possession of a firearm. Important to note, this charge was unrelated to Vaughn's disappearance. As we previously reported, Wandra had already served 17 months and was expected to serve another 4 in the Ada County Jail under the U.S. Marshal Service custody. But today, I learned the Bureau of Prisons directed the Marshal Service to release Wandra because he finished his sentence. The Marshal Service told me Wandra served 21 months, constituting credit for time served before trial, as well as nearly 2 years of good time credit. He's now on supervised release. And this week marks 1 year since Fruitland police dug in the Wandra's backyard, searching for little Michael Vaughn's remains. Michael went missing from his Fruitland neighborhood near the Wandra's home in July of 2021. Fruitland police submitted a case to the Payette County prosecutor this summer that they say involves Stacy and his wife, Sarah, as well as 2 other people.
And those 2 other people are Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucien, right? Remember him? He was the other guy that was there. Do you guys remember, and I pulled this one document up. There it is. Right there. Do you guys remember that? Let me put this up on the bigger screen so you guys can see that. Remember when we were discussing the Michael Monkey Vaughn case? We were provided a picture from law enforcement of a man walking that they wanted right there. They wanted information on this man. They wanted to know who he was, and nobody could identify him. Look, I think I know why they were looking for this guy. And I don't know why I did not make heads or tails of this at the time, but I'm making heads or tails of it right now. I truly believe if you look at this man's face right here, I think that's Adrian. I think that's this man right here walking on that street. I feel like everybody that law enforcement had been looking for and has been looking for this whole entire time, the man walking, that car that they could not identify. There was a lot of different things, honestly, that we weren't making heads or tails at the time. And now when we're looking back on it, when we're truly looking back on it, it's pretty obvious now that I think they've been looking at this whole entire, I think this has been their focus the entire time. I think we, as the public, didn't realize that. Because I think what we're going to find out, because I remember when I talked to a source close to this investigation, that was associated with the family, this particular source told me that law enforcement was looking at a house in the community on the other side that was being uncooperative, that had some issues with their timeline and other things. So when we went out there, I was already apprised of that information before going out there. And we were directed to several houses that potentially it could be. And the address of one of those houses was the Wandras. So it is, it has been. I feel like that law enforcement, even though they weren't telling us a lot, I feel like their focus has been on that house. And I truly believe that we've now identified that strange man walking down the road as Adrian. Lucien, or something like that. Lucienne, something like that. But I wanted to just put this up here as well. Give me just a second.
This is right. This is where the weird guy, that dude that was caught on the Ring doorbell camera. This was right there is where he was, right there. And I'm telling you, I found a person that was a registered offender that matches his description. It wasn't me that found it. Somebody had sent me the information. Perfect description. Looks like this dude from the side view. And it makes me wonder, this guy looks creepy. And he's an offender. So I keep wondering, you know, was that who we saw at that area? So right now we're here. We're posting flyers for Michael Monkey Vaughn all over his community. Any pole that we see that does not have a flyer on it, we're posting it. Why? Because we want any offender that has anything to do with this little boy's disappearance to look at his face everywhere he goes, to be reminded of what he's doing to a family. And I say a he, but it could be a she. We don't know who it is.
Damn. I even forgot I even said that. It could be a female, right? Sarah, Stacy, Brandon, and Adrian. This case is bizarre. This case is really, really bizarre because what people don't realize is there's more to the story. There's a weird, evil, demonic underbelly of this particular story. For those that don't understand what I'm talking about, it is the fact that Stacy and Sarah apparently, for all intents and purposes, were taxi cab drivers and or oil change service lube type of thing. They had both things going. Faith Taxi, Faith being Faith, Faith Taxi. But that's not the kicker. This is the weird stuff. So Sarah had a tendency of meeting guys at the airport to give them a ride. But somehow a few of those guys end up coming back home with her and staying at her home so she can help them get up on their feet. And I'm thinking, you know, I know a lot of taxi cab drivers. My cousin used to be one, right? I know kind of how this thing works, and I don't ever recall in everything that I've done in my life ever having a taxi cab driver say, "Hey, are you down on your luck? Can I bring you home with me? I'll let you stay there. I'll give you a job." That's just weird to me. And this happened multiple times where she would apparently go pick up a ride with her taxi cab service and bring them back home. It's weird. There's something wrong with that. It made me feel the EBGBs. Now you have them next to a house with RSOs. The woman and the man, RSOs. They tried to say they didn't know the Wandras. They had nothing to do with the Wandras. The Wandras were just their neighbor. But when you start looking under the hood, you realize that these RSOs have their key to their house, used to work for their taxi cab service, purchased a car from them, a lot of stuff. And you have a little boy missing. We've got a big problem here. And now we're finding out that Stacy's leaving jail. The charges against Sarah have been dropped. Brandon and Adrian are still out there. Nothing has happened, you know? And I like their police chief. He is very, in my opinion, he's doing a good job. You've never heard me say anything. What is it? JD Huff, right? That's the police chief out there, if I'm not mistaken, JD Huff. I met him. I met JD. Nice guy. Treated me with utmost respect. I was in the small police department, police outfit out there. And I was in there because this was my preliminary, fact-finding stuff. We were out there posting flyers and stuff like that. But, when I go into these communities, I want to know who I am helping. So whether people like it or not, I pull as much criminal background information about mom and dad as possible, right? I even went over to Ontario, Oregon, and pulled information from there. You guys never saw me release that information because it didn't really matter what was in there. What wasn't in there was the stuff that I usually see for despicable parents, which is a good sign, right? It's a good sign. I didn't plaster anything that I found on online. As a matter of fact, it was unnecessary. It was not for your eyes. It was for mine, because I'm the one that has to cover this case, and I'm the one that can be played like a fool out there in the field. So I want to make sure that when I'm talking to somebody, I know who I'm talking to, and that's what I do. But there was no red flags there. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but there was no red flags. Okay. I'm just going to say it like that. There was no red flags. There was nothing despicable. There was nothing that led me to believe that mom and dad were horrible, despicable people that beat their child, like Leilani Simon. There was no indication of that. Everything I found out about Brandy and Tyler were that they were good parents and loved their kids, and their son is missing. That's what I learned. And it's sad. It really is very, very sad. Before I move on to updates with Sarah Ebersole, I know many people are here probably this morning to hear about the Summer Wells case. So I'm going to go ahead and redirect some time and energy over to Summer Wells. Summer Wells, many of you know that we collaborated with several creators. One of them was Molly Golightly, Justice for All. We collaborated with Jonathan Lee Riches, Chronicles of Olivia, and myself, and we went out to Rogersville, Tennessee, Hawkins County, Tennessee, in an effort to help find information and bring information to help the case related to Summer Wells. Summer Wells was a 5-year-old child that went missing from her home in the Beech Creek area of Hawkins County, which is Rogersville, Tennessee, a small little place. The Beech Creek area is well known for a lot of shenanigans, a lot of rough housing, a lot of deaths, a lot of fights, a lot of drugs, a lot of disappearances, and a lot of places to hide a body if you need to. Point blank, that's what we've learned. Summer Wells' family story doesn't make sense. After 2 years, the parents have not been cleared. And let me put this in perspective for my audience. Whenever law enforcement, and I know this because I've talked to law enforcement, I'm friends with law enforcement. I know people from the CIA. I know people from the FBI. I know people from local, state, national programs, nonprofits, a lot. Okay. I will tell you what was told to me. They put the parents through pure hell. When something like this happens and things don't, they start out, just getting information, they're your best friend. And then when things don't pan out, they turn up the heat. They want to clear the parents as quickly as possible. They know the agony of missing a child is hard. They know that their job sucks, that they have to tear these parents apart because at the end of the day, parents do despicable things to their children. Does that mean that the parent in front of their face missing that child did something despicable to their child? No, it does not. And that's why they need to clear the parents. They need to make sure the parents had nothing to do with it. So I was told a long time ago, the parents are the first ones that they clear. They want to clear them so they can make them they want to bring them over so they can help them, but they need to make sure that they know who they're helping. So they clear the parents. That's literally the first thing. Anybody that's in and around this child, they want to clear that inner circle as quickly as possible. Get them, interrogate them, put them through hell, get them through this hell as quickly as possible. That's what they do. They know, law enforcement knows they're putting these parents through hell. Don't think they're oblivious to the fact that's part of their job. So they know it doesn't mean that they like doing it. Okay. They're watching a parent literally bleeding from the inside out because they're missing their child. So parents, they're not wanting to beat the parents up, but they have to. They have to make sure that the parents aren't involved. So 2 years later in the Summer Wells case, both of the parents, Don Wells and Candace Bly, as a matter of fact, Grandis as well. None of them after all of this time, have ever been cleared in the disappearance of Summer Wells. Moreover, law enforcement has maintained for over 2 years, 2 years, there is no evidence of an abduction. We have parents not cleared and no evidence of an abduction. Now, call me a fool. Call me a fool all day long. Good Lord. We know we got a line behind the Bullhorn Betty channel ready to say something, right? But we can't help people's brain cells. This is my suggestion to the people that can't make heads or tails of that information. Maybe you should get off the drugs. Seriously. Quit pining so much. You're killing your brain cells. If anybody cannot understand what law enforcement has said for the last 2 years, I don't know what I can possibly do to help you along the way. I don't. Law enforcement, after 2 years, has not cleared the parents, and after 2 years has adamantly affirmed, no evidence of an abduction. So, all of you people out there that are still talking about the possibility of this child being abducted, quit spreading misinformation. I'm so tired of the misinformation being peddled around about Summer Wells. It's disgusting. The bottom line is the only people in and around her that day were her family. Period. And one other person, Hunter. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She was with her family all day long. Dawn went home. Dawn had the boys. How do I know that? Because the boys weren't with their mother. We have corroborated evidence that Don Wells was at work with his kids. And we have corroborated evidence that the boys were home when Candace went home, implying, and I don't even know why it has to be implied, because it seems they didn't telepathically just land at their house when Candace got home. Somebody had to take them to that house. If they were with Don Wells, common sense tells you Don Wells left his job with his boys and went home. We hear from Candace that Candace got home and her boys were there and took out the limited cheese and milk. It took 5 people to get cheese and milk out of their pickup truck. And it took 6 people to divvy up the groceries and put them away in a house that's literally head to ceiling with garbage, but somehow they have the fortitude to put groceries away that they don't even cook. Something happened to that girl. I can tell you, being out there, and for anybody that still believes this child was abducted, I challenge you to go out there with me and show me how it's done. Because let me tell you, I have been out there, 10, 12 times since this case has began? And I still can't figure out how to scale that damn mountain to go steal a child that I can't even see from the road. But hey, I digress. Apparently, people have superpowers that I don't know about. You know, they have this X-ray vision that can go over mountains and through the woods, literally, right? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Don Wells' behavior after his daughter was removed, him going and saying how his daughter's probably in a torture chamber being AR'd, saying it with a straight face. I was mortified. I almost had tears coming out of my eyes. And this is not even my child, when I heard Don Wells say that. And he says that with all of his words and straight face. Meanwhile, this is the same guy that said his 5-year-old sister wanted it. liked him, wanted to date him. His 5-year-old sister, when he was 14, had the googly eyes for her older brother. So much so that she wanted to lose her innocence at 5 years old. Don't you know? But that monster didn't do anything to his daughter. I mean, good God. I mean, for us to think about that, shame on us. What horrible people we are to say 1 + 1 = 2. Past behavior dictates future behavior. If this man was diddling around with little girls when he was 14 years old, I'm sorry, he's 50, almost 60 years old. You ain't teaching that dog new tricks. If he was a sicko back then, he's a sicko now, and anybody that says different, you guys are delusional. So my preacher says, right, we need to come with love. Come with love. Get a little love and understanding, a little love in our hearts. He was 12. She was 5. I could care less whether he was 12 or 14. That's just, what is a 12-year-old boy doing even thinking about that? I wasn't thinking about, I was thinking, I guess at 12, I was probably into Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or God knows what else at 12. I don't remember. But I mean, that kind of stuff. I wasn't into that. When I was that, you thought that you were in heaven by pet kissing a kid, right? You were in love if you, right? That's my boyfriend, right? Right? My boyfriend. My boyfriend that I share my candy with. So I don't understand, but he was twisted then at 12 years old. Twisted at 12 years old. Do you honestly think he's changed his life so much so? I mean, with his 40 years of criminal behavior, him being in and out of jail for the last 40 years from Florida, Tennessee, Utah, Arkansas, Texas, golly, Don, I think at this point, Don, it might be easier to list the states you haven't been arrested or convicted in as opposed to the states you have, because we know you're a criminal. We know you haven't changed. We know a zebra never changes their stripe. So this illusion out there on YouTube that Don Wells is some kind of pinnacle of a great father, you have lost your damn mind. It made me want to vomit in my mouth seeing Don Wells hugging the neck of Layla's family, a family that's actually looking for their child, not somebody else's. Just saying, Don. Did you forget your daughter's name is Summer Moon Utah Wells? Did you forget she's got blonde hair and blue eyes? Did you forget she was 5 years old when she went missing from your flipping home? Did you forget about your daughter, Dawn? I'm just curious. Because it looks like you're more concerned about everybody else's child, as always. Hell, when I had a conversation with you, you were talking to me about the children in fucking Korea. But not Summer Wells. But not Summer Wells. He's going to donate the $10 for that word. I deserve to use it. You know it. But Don Wells makes me sick. And I don't want to hear any bleeding hearts coming, you don't have this, you don't have that. You know what? I have more than you. And I can tell you my circumstantial evidence is leading right back to that property and has always led back to that property. And I have maintained the same information for the last 2 years. For the last 2 years. There's a reason why everybody that goes there ends up having the same conclusion. Everybody. I guarantee that the biggest hater in this group right now, that does not believe that Don Wells is guilty, Don and Candace are guilty of this crime, I challenge them to come out there with me. I challenge them because I want to record their expression when they see that property. When they feel that property, you just know. So do yourself a favor because it is a young child. And I'm going to say she's dead. A young child is dead. because of her parents. I don't care if law enforcement agrees with me just yet. But I know when I met with law enforcement, which I did, we sat down with them for 4 hours over a 2-day period. Law enforcement does not do that with just anybody. I can tell you, even then, you could look at those detectives' eyes and know they knew Don and Candace were responsible. So I don't really give a crap about somebody that hasn't been to the property, doesn't know me, hasn't even spoke one word to those law enforcement officers telling you what you need to be thinking about this case. I can tell you what I personally experienced, what I personally heard, and what I personally did. And I can tell you that each and every time we went out there and we tried our hardest. Let me be very clear. We didn't go out there looking to condemn Don Wells and Candace Bly. As a matter of fact, we went out there to clear them. We went out there to flip and clear them. And we could not. So people can say whatever the heck they want to say about me and about me and Don Wells' relationship and how we don't see eye to eye and how I got him fired from his job. You do not tell me to meet you somewhere and take me on a wild goose chase for 4 hours and not pay a heavy cost for that, especially on the back of your own daughter. How dare you? And don't be crime victim, because you had every opportunity to make that day a lot different and you chose not to. And you had to pay the consequences for that. I stand behind everything I did on that case, and I will continue to do so. You know, there was one time I was meeting with a television production company. They were here at the house, and they were interviewing me about the Moscow, Idaho case. And, you know, they're from overseas. So I'm sitting here giving them the interview, and they, you know, they don't understand you know, what we do, and they're trying to say, you know, don't you complicate this? And I said, yeah, there are definitely, and not just me, you know, just the genre. Can we complicate it? Absolutely. I'm an honest person, you know. I tell them like it is. Absolutely. And the one thing said, you know, what if you get it wrong? And quite frankly, I told them, I haven't had that experience yet. And she asked me, well, what happens when you do? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had that experience yet. But she said, is there any case that you would? I said, there may be one. I said, I'm pretty spot on this one because I put so much energy into this case. But there is one case that could potentially have another ending. And that's the Summer Wells case. Again, being honest. As I keep going back here and reviewing this stuff, the work, you know, because it's been a while. You know, you forget certain details. You wonder if this was implied or you took this information wrong and went a different route with the information. You know, you wonder, am I looking at this properly? Am I analyzing this properly? Am I following the leads where they're going? Am I understanding the evidence before law enforcement? Am I, you know, you have all these questions when you're looking into these cases. And naturally, I have all these questions, but after it's been so long and you haven't talked about the case, you forget. So I went back and I looked. And now I remember why Don Wells and Candace Bly are guilty. They're guilty because they did something with Summer Wells. That's why they're guilty. They're not guilty because I think they're guilty. They're not guilty because you think they're guilty. They're guilty because they did something with their daughter. And I don't really give a crap if you believe me or not, but there is a reason why every single creators that don't even like each other, every one of us go out there and know better. And the people that don't are idiots and just getting clicks and views. And you shouldn't even be watching them anyways, to be honest with you. If somebody can't figure this shit out, they're dumb as a box of rocks and shouldn't even be on YouTube advising you of true crime. And if people are offended about that, then you're probably the person I'm talking about. Just saying. YouTube, Bullhorn Betty here. So
there was some breaking information. I'm not sure breaking, but definitely new information that came out today on JLR's channel about Don Wells' prior wife, Pamela Ann Wells. And he was going over some information related to an arrest that she had related to controlled substance. And I couldn't help, he even explained like Don Wells's age and Pamela's age is a huge difference, huge difference. And I was very curious, many of us have been assuming that Summer Wells, the missing 5-year-old, now 6-year-old out of Rogersville, Tennessee, was potentially SA'd by Don Wells, her father. This came after many allegations from his own family that resides in Utah. Apparently, Don Wells has allegedly assaulted his sister many, many years ago. As we progress in this case and look at new information related to Don Wells' history, his upbringing, how did we get to this point? Where his daughter is missing, where he has, 30 years of criminal conduct spanning across many states in the United States of America, and just really trying to understand his behavior and his past behavior related to his criminal charges and what he's done. Because his daughter is missing, we're wanting to know who we are dealing with in this case. And since Don Wells and Candace Wells have just stated she was abducted, has never come off that abduction, law enforcement is stating that there is no evidence of this abduction even over a year later. Don Wells, Candace Bly, Candace Hare, none of them have been excluded as persons of interest related to the disappearance of Summer Wells, which leads me to question that they're persons of interest. Law enforcement has been very vocal that everyone is still a person of interest in this case. Summer Wells has not been found.
I forgot my volume set up. But hey, I could have stopped at a better spot in this. But I did want to say that, this was done a year ago, over a year ago, this video right here. And guess what? The information is still exactly the same. Exactly the same, guys. She still hasn't been found. The parents still haven't been cleared. The grandmother still hasn't been cleared. I mean, come on. And law enforcement still maintains that there's no evidence of an abduction. Come on. Come on, people. What the hell?
We have no idea where she may be. While many of us hope that she returns safely and unharmed, each passing day makes many of us dwindle in hope. So when JLR showed the picture of Pamela, it concerned me. So I did some research on assault of young male and, how they may react, what they may do as an adult. And here is what I found on that front. Hi guys, this is the article I was referring to, at least one of them. This is from 1in6.org. This is related to people that have been abused and just looking for research because Don Wells has been accused of this type of abuse. And when we talk to psychologists and other professionals, they state this type of action is a taught action. A taught action. That means they learned it from somebody. They were either abused themselves or were taught to perpetrate the abuse on others. Many believe that Don was abused himself as a young, and that's why he was acting on those impulses with his younger stepsister. There are a couple things that I thought were very interesting. So the introduction is up front. We need to acknowledge a couple things. Culture across the globe generally don't respond this question in truly healthy ways. With that said, there is hope. If you have already abused or assaulted an adult, the sad truth is that your situation is much worse. If you have acted on such impulses, the fear, shame, guilt, and other disturbing thoughts and feelings you have or struggle not to experience are totally
Sleep well,
normal
Mustang.
results of such behavior. This is a lot to deal with. It's not fair, but we're not telling you anything you don't already know, even if you usually try not to think about it. Still, we can confidently say this: there is hope. Things can get better. 2 key messages. Whatever brought you to this page, we have 2 very important messages for you. 1, most people who abuse others were abused as a child, but the reverse is not true. Most people abused as a child do not abuse others. The best available research suggests 75% or more of those who commit acts against others were themselves abused as a child. As you see, it is very interesting information, to say the least. If you would like more information, please go to those websites that I just stated in that short clip. I also wanted to dig in a little deeper, and we're going to have a little kicker at the end. So when I saw Pamela, again, the enormous age difference, we know that this kind of behavior is a taught behavior. So you were either assaulted or someone taught you to assault. And many people that have been assaulted become the assaulter. Does that make sense? Many of us have alleged that Don Wells may have been abused. Many people have alleged that they had thought it might have been his stepfather. Then they alleged that maybe it wasn't the stepfather, maybe it was his father. But could it have been a woman that assaulted Don at a young age? Could it have been a woman instead of the male aspect? Because a lot of people during this era didn't want to acknowledge that women could do this type of stuff. And with him marrying a significantly older woman at such a young age, is it because that was what he was accustomed to? And did he go on to perpetrate the same thing that happened to him onto other people? Is that why he left Pamela and went to Candace, where his cycle of abuse now began? We know he was abusive, but where did the SA abuse come from? That's what I'd like to know.
All right. I'm done. You guys didn't get to hear that. What I was saying is I actually, that was good. We did a lot of due diligence. We did a lot of digging deeper than we usually dig on these. We went down to the psychology of Don. We went down to the psychology of Candace. I'm telling you, I don't know how to express this enough to you. If you honestly believe Don and Candace have no hand in this, I don't know what true crime community you're a part of or what you've watched as, your knowledgeable content for the last, years. What trolls are in here? Oh. So funny. So funny. Okay. Well, that's your opinion. Their rule 37, 137, I should say. And I also wanted just to let you know that, I did hear what they say. I find it awfully funny that, people are so naive and so ignorant that they think they can, that they are immune from certain things. Like, for example, people believing that they can get my finances and scatter them all over YouTube because of a law, because of an action. And I find that funny that they actually think that they can have a counterclaim and not be subjected to the same exact stuff they're subjecting me to. That is beyond, like, that is just very ignorant and naive thinking, for whatever reason. So enjoy, but thank you. Put an end to the hate. Thank you. I do need to ignore. Betty, do you have a website to view Arkansas court documents for previous cases? I had to order them. From Arkansas. I do have them somewhere. I'll look them up and see what the case numbers are, but I do have them. I just haven't seen them in a while. We're just now dusting off the file of Summer Wells. Like, we're blowing off all the dust and getting the cobwebs out of it, because I've seen people talking about this case and it's just really starting to bother me. Not the people, not like Justice for All or anything like that. He was out there collaborating with us. I mean, he has a right to have his opinion. He actually got off his ass and went out there and got information before he made, a determination, even if his determination was polar opposite of mine. If that was the case, I would still respect it, because at least he got off his ass and went out there and looked and made his own determination based upon real facts instead of somebody else's facts. So I love that. But we don't have, there's a lot of states that still haven't gotten online. See, for Florida, we can go online. We can go to any county in the state of Florida, type in a name and pull up a court docket. We don't keep the public away from people's public records. If it's public records, it's out there. You're entitled to them. You shouldn't have to go through red tape to get stuff that you're entitled to. That's the way Florida believes. I wish other states would get on board with it. People have a right to public information. And, if people don't want to get in trouble and don't want their stuff out there, then don't get in trouble. Don't have your stuff out there. But public information is public information. It's for each and every one of us to have. Arkansas, I could not find. I did order. We do have, and I will locate those charges and those charge sheets, as well as his mugshots. Because if I remember, the Arkansas arrests, he was a much younger guy, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't recent Arkansas arrest, but he does have, about 30 or 40 years of just in and out of prisons from all these different states. It seems like right when he was getting up to, the third strike rule, he'd move states. So he'd get in trouble one time, two times. And then when he's getting ready to have that third strike, he moves to a different state. That seems to be the MO that I had seen there for, a good 20 years of his running. This is a bad guy, guys. Don Wells is a bad guy. He's an abuser. He beats women. He steals cars. He robs people. He writes bad checks. He abuses his children. He lets his children do drugs. Yes, and he does let his children do drugs. I have that corroborated by multiple people. His oldest son at the time, I think, was 10, 11, smoking dope. Way to go, Dad. Father of the year. Why don't you go ahead and send him some more few $1,000s? Can't even use those few $1,000s to pay for the child support for his 3 sons that he's desperately trying to get back, right? But he doesn't mind taking those thousands of dollars to go buy some crack cocaine or some alcohol. Way to go, guys. Way to go. You wonder why I'm so angry with you. You guys can beat me up and call me every name in the book because of this case. I don't care. You guys were wrong. And you continue to be wrong. And there's nothing I can do about that but sit back here and just say that you're wrong. But I'm not going to be stalking you, harassing you, sending people out to you, trying to cause you personal or financial harm. I'm just going to sit on my channel and give my opinion the way the channel is meant to be given. Don Wells did this. I don't know what happened. Did they leave the summer in the car? Or did she have dry drowning? I don't know. At this point, what difference does it make? It was still them. It was still them. That child was removed from that property. There was only one person that left that property on video. Let me just be clear with that, right? There's only one person that left that area that day during that time. And she left twice. Can you explain that to me? Oh, that's right. You can't figure out anything. But they didn't do it. Got it. They didn't do it. But you can't tell me, you can't answer these questions. Don Wells, I know you're watching. When are you going to give me my interview? When are you going to answer the tough questions? Not these softball questions that you get on your friendly channels. Real questions. You didn't do it, right? I mean, that's what you're telling everybody. You didn't have anything to do with this. Then why do you keep hiding from me? You know I'm more informed than just about any other creator on this channel outside of Chris McDonough when it comes to your case. And I mean that lovingly, right alongside of the people that were out there with me, of course. But still, why won't you give any of us an interview? You give your friends, those ones that pad your pocket. Hell, you'll even go up there on Cher's channel. Why? Because I know Cher's sneaky. You know, I know she does dirty, underhanded stuff. Is this all a game to her for money and profit and clicks and views, her and Don teaming up? It's possible. It's possible. Because I know her. And I know it wouldn't be beneath her to do something like that. And she knows I know. So, Don, again, I'm going to ask you, because I know you're watching. And if you're not watching, you will be. Why won't you interview with me? Is it because I know too much? Is it because whenever I speak to you and you give me that BS answer and I know the facts that you're not going to be able to resolve that? Why won't you give me an interview? You know why? Because like I said, when I looked you dead in your eyes out in front of your job, you know what happened to her. You can see it all over your face. You can see it in your eyes. And at the end of the day, you know I know. That's why you won't give me an interview. So go out there and start hating Betty. But you're about to have me up your bowels. It's going to be 2021 all over again, Don. Going to be 2021 all over again. Are you still staying out there in Ben Hill? Are you going to be shooting rockets at me again? Oh, excuse me. Flare gun. Want to make sure that we're factually accurate here. We got the exact police up in the house. You going to shoot a flare gun at me again, Don? Got my bullhorn. My bullhorn's bedazzled now. You don't have a red and white one anymore. You got, whoa, it's hot. It's a hot one, too. I look good with it. Don. Maybe I should. I haven't used this new bullhorn, you know, the one that Sonia made for me. God, I love this bullhorn. She put a lot of effort into it, guys. I got to be honest with you. This is an awesome bullhorn. What can I say? I love it, right? I haven't even used it. What better way to break in the new bullhorn than Don Wells? Hey, Don, where are you working at these days? Are you still in construction, Don? I should stop. Hey Don, I heard you got a lifetime supply of drywall mud. I heard that you stole it years ago, and they don't even know why you steal the mud, right? I heard a couple of people say, I don't know why he steals the mud from his bosses, right? Because all he does is throw them into the shed and let them dry out. So Don, why are you stealing buckets of mud from your prior job? I'm curious about that. I need to stop. I need to stop. All right, guys. Well, listen, this is my thing. Don Wells is guilty as hell. Okay? Something happened. Let me put this into perspective. I didn't want to believe. Oh, I did. Oh, did I? Oh, did I harass them? Okay. So that's harassment. So you understand there's a difference in harassment and protesting. You understand that I'm allowed to go anywhere that's public property, right? I'm allowed to go to public property. This is the problem I have, especially with idiot attorneys that clearly can't do legal research. Doing something electronically and doing something in person could be the differences between an illegal act and a lawful act. But, I'm not the one suing my old school either. So, I don't know what to say, I guess I understand the concept of that, but say la vie, say la vie. But anyways, you can have your opinion that I'm harassing people all day long, but at the end of the day, I've never been charged. And at the end of the day, if you forget, we had a police escort out in Rogersville, Tennessee, dum-dum. So I think if I was breaking the law enforcement officer that was escorting me around would have arrested me. Dum-dum. I guess when law enforcement came out there to the job and told Don that we were acting within the law and within our rights, apparently you missed that. Dum-dum. Apparently you missed that. Dum-dum. You guys need to learn the law. You guys need to learn the law and learn how it is. Because you know what? Opinions from attorneys don't mean shit. It's the law and how the law is applied. Good Lord. You guys are... Give me some sew. Give me a string and a needle. Let me sew my mouth shut before I open it and put my foot in it. Okay? I'm a harasser. I'm so mean. I'm so mean. Oh my God. Oh my God. Bullhorn Betty is the worst. She's the meanest person on YouTube. Oh no. 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 Not her. Golly, she's so mean. Well, thank goodness I'm only mean to people that do really bad things to kids. Huh. Thank goodness. That's all I direct my attention to. Thank God that whenever I go into a community, if I'm yelling at you, you've done some pretty shitty shit. At least there's that, right? At least I'm not putting thousands of dollars in a monster's hand, little girl. At least I'm on the right side of this, babe. Thank you! We got our winner chicken dinner right there. Paid for the F word we used before. Right? Before. Thank you. Thank you for the $10 cuss jar donation. Bullhorn Betty needs it today. Who knows that I need it today? I love it. I love it. Hey, you, Dolly. Good. Thank you, Justice for Summer. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I see you. What's shaking, bacon? You're spying on me, aren't you? You're saying she got something on Summer Wells. She got something on Summer Wells. What are we doing over here? What are we doing over here? Hey, I see you. How's my my favorite grandma doing? She's too young to be a grandma. She's a granny. And I throw her business out here every chance I get. Because I want somebody to feel as old as me. I feel old as dirt. Who's with me? Who's with me? So I did get some information on the, sorry, let me get that out. On the Sarah Ebersole. I got some text messages that I wanted to play or read, at least read. Where's my text messages? Here they are. I can't show them up because for me to show them up, I'd have to, Jen's like, don't be showing them. I'll have to show phone numbers. And I can't dox people, you know, because people don't understand real doxing on YouTube. The doxing definition is not by saying your first and last name like Rebecca Turner or something like that. It's actually saying something like your bank account number, your username and password, identifying features, things like that. That's doxing. I don't know if anybody understands the definition of doxing. Using your legal, lawful name that God gave you is not a dox. Just to make sure we're clear on that, because, you know, some people are idiots, and I've just read a ridiculous definition, which is completely untrue. Google, you can just say, Google it and just say YouTube definition for doxing. It's pretty easy. Even an attorney can do it. Even an attorney can do it. So this is a email. This was back about, remember how we were talking? Remember how we were talking about with the Sarah Ebersole, her sister found the truck. You remember the Cowboys and her having that flirty conversation about her hoping to get a ride, you know? And then she never was seen again. Well, we're finding out, and they were talking about, the sister was talking about how she's trying to get her niece, but she just got hit with attorney's fees because the person that's the suspect in her disappearance is, you know, is awarded the rights and obviously attorney fees related to that case. Law enforcement came out and basically was very sarcastic yesterday and said, and it wasn't yesterday, it was when they did the report, but we read it yesterday. And they basically said that, you know, she either left the house or she didn't. She either died in that house or she didn't. Like they didn't mince their words. They just didn't believe, they don't believe them. They don't believe the witnesses, the people that they were hanging out with, the husband, the wife that lived in the house, or the person that was there with them. Apparently there was a total of 5 people from what I'm gathering. And all of their stuff is suspect. And none of it makes sense. So I think they're all complicit. And then we come to find out that the girl had a lot of cash on her. So I now believe that they murdered her for freaking money. And she is somewhere. I don't think it was custody related. I think it was financially related. And I think the people she was hanging out with are probably a bunch of drug addicts. We're probably going to find that to be true. But she's been having problems with her ex and the custody of her child and the fact that he's not letting her see the child. We heard from her sister that she's not an addict and not on drugs. But there are some problematic behavioral things that I attribute to that type of behavior. I'm going to trust the family in their analysis because, you know, at the end of the day, families know families better. And, you know, just like Layla's mom chose to tell me what was going on, and we adjusted. And, you know, if that's what they believe, that's fine. But I'm not going to lie to my audience. I'm going to say that there are behaviors that are attributed to a drug element that I see with Sarah. Now, again, it just might be laxy-daisy, no dependency of any kind, maybe just a little smoke here or there, you know, something innocent and not a big deal. But there is that element there, period. There is the element, and I'm not going to lie about that. I've already seen it. And so they believe, and not only that, but apparently Joe, her ex, appears to have been at this particular property. Is the person that she's having problems with, or she left with him or something like that. But they never left that property. It doesn't appear. And so I've got some records about her arguing, or, you know, sending stuff to the judge saying, you know, he's not letting me visit my daughter. I'm allowed to visit. Now he's saying I can only visit on Thursdays and Sundays. She was really struggling with her ex and struggling just to see her child. And again, I don't know what was going on in her life. You know, you know, she obviously wasn't She didn't have a place of her own. You know, she was a free spirit. She loved going out and having fun. Well, that's just sometimes not really conducive to being a mom or a mom type of environment. You know, when you have children, your free spirit kind of has to be tampered down until that child is old enough to take care of his or herself. So, you know, there are obviously on the face of this case, there's some significant issues that, you know, brought us to where we are with this. But based upon what I read from law enforcement and what I'm reading in the news and what we're hearing from the family, she's probably gone. They're looking for her. This is more of a recovery mission. They're just trying to find her to put her to rest. The family's already come to realization she's not coming back. That's from my understanding. So we have a lot of things to keep in our prayers, but let's pray for Michael's case. Let's pray for Summer Wells' case. Let's pray for the victims, all the victims, including Rex's own family. Let's pray for the victims of the Gilgo Beach murder. And then, of course, Sarah's family and her daughter. Her daughter's missing her mother and we'll never see her again. And the sad part about, you know, when children are so young and their parents die, they forget what they smell like. They forget what they look like. They have this one picture or maybe two, and that's what they get to carry with them the rest of their life. It's sad. It's unnecessary. We do need to end the hate in this country. We need to find some more love in our hearts and in our souls. We need to quit being so combative and so mean. I mean, we come here every day and we see all this ugliness across our country and across our world. Why would we want to be a part of that? Why wouldn't all of us want to be doing our part to end that every way we can? Just a little food for thought, guys. I hope you have an amazing Thursday. Tomorrow is TGIF. Yay! We're at the end of our week. Almost. We're at the end of our week. I know we are going to be just... That's going to be our tomorrow, right? That's going to be our tomorrow. We're going to be rocking it out with our coffee beans out tomorrow. I just feel it today. This week's been a good week. We've been on time all week long. We've had great conversations in the chat and on the channel. We're covering more and more. I'm making decisions now on what I want to do. You know, a lot of our goals for 2023 were put on the back burner. I know you guys know that. They were put on the back burner because of all this nonsense we had to deal with. The bottom line is this nonsense is about to move over. It's about to move on. We're finally, hopefully, you know, we're getting to the end of this nonsense. And once it's over, we will be propelling forward. And we're not going to be dealing with any more of this drama. And I'm just going to let everybody out there know right now, if you violate the law and you piss me off, I'm most likely going to sue you because I have a right to in the United States to go after anybody that causes me damage. And so I'm saying this on the record. So if Yahoo wants to use it for her case, she can go ahead and use it for her case. But I'm going to be very firm. I will defend my reputation. I will defend my channel and I will defend my channel name because I don't do anything wrong. If you don't like me protesting, that's your problem, not mine. You can complain about it, but you don't get an opportunity to destroy somebody over it. I've 3 protests in 2 years, and they think they have a right to come after me and take my channel, and it's just misunderstanding. Just a misunderstanding. Cut it out and give me a fucking break. Lies, lies, and more lies. Lies, lies, and more lies. That's okay. We're gonna work it out in court where it needs to be worked out, not here on YouTube. But believe me, once I'm done, we're done. We're done. And again, let me just put this out there. Let me just put this out. Actually, you know what? I won't put that out there. I'll keep that one to myself. I'll keep that one to myself. You guys have an amazing day. I'm going to keep being awesome, and I'm going to keep doing amazing things. And there ain't nobody in this world that will ever stop Bullhorn Betty. God bless you.